Carter from Carter Curricula, where I am on a mission to savor our shared humanity by closely reading dead American poets. Well, in this one, we don't have a dead American poet to take a look at. Thankfully, we've got a live American poet. In an interview that I found in a textbook, at least an excerpt from the interview, from A Brisk Walk, an interview with Billy Collins. Billy Collins was the poet laureate in the United States from 2001 to 2003. According to some people, he was as popular as a Hollywood actor. And so he had a lot of fanfare and fame. He rose because of his writings. Additionally, Collins was deceptively simple in his poetry, is what they say. I've done a close reading on one of his poems. I'll put the link in the pinned comments. He's pretty phenomenal in terms of the way he writes, and I love the way he talks about this in an interview. The way that these lessons happen is you could take a look at the outline over here on the left-hand side. The way that these lessons happen is that I'll take a look at first the essential question. Second, we will read the text. Third, we will closely read the text, where I will take a look at the artistry of the author's words. And then third, we'll take a look at the theme of the text. Fifth, we'll take a look at the categories of thinking. Last but not least, we will land the plane by applying the ideas poet talks about into our everyday lives. It is my assumption that these poets, their words last, their words remain because they're so wise. And it'd be a good idea for me to figure out where the wisdom is in those words and see if I can apply those to my everyday life, and hopefully you can apply them to your everyday life as well. Let's take a look and get started here with the essential question. Essential question: how does progress happen? Right? This seems like a very simple a question that you probably could just rattle off real quick. Progress happens by this. Progress happens by this because of this. Um, this poet in this interview has a fresh look at how progress happens. The concept probably will relate to something that you've seen or understand to be true about progress right now, but how he says it is probably nothing like how you've ever heard progress being discussed. So, how does progress happen? That's really answer that question is what this entire lesson is driving toward. Let's read it. I am from Billy Collins, from A Brisk Walk, an interview with Billy Collins. I'm a line maker. I think that's what makes poets different from prose writers. We think not just in sentences the way prose writers do, but also in lines. When I'm constructing a poem, I'm trying to write one good line after another. I'm not thinking about just writing a paragraph and then chopping it up. I'm very conscious of the fact that every line should have a cadence to it, should contribute progress of the poem, and that the ending of the line is a way of turning the reader's attention back into the interior of the poem. Um, you could see what's going on here. He's using this idea of being a line maker. He's a line maker. This is his task. This is his profession. This is his occupation, is one who makes lines. What type of lines does he make? He doesn't make like the lines that you put into a weed whacker and, whack the weeds or edge the lawn. He doesn't make lines like the kind of lines that you put up in order to hang your clothes so that you could dry them. He doesn't make the type of lines where people are standing in a line in order to eat their favorite ice cream or eat at their local burger joint. He is a line maker, a writer of lines, a poet. A poet is a line maker, right? A line maker. He creates in the world of lines. I think that's what makes poets different from prose writers. So he draws the distinction. We're over here in terms of our writing. Prose writers are over here. We are distinct over here. I think sometimes we are able to find out our distinctions, find out what makes us uniquely who we are when we're able to figure out who we are not. We're not like them. We're not like the prose writers where they write long things. We're just basically writing line after line. We think not just in sentences the way prose writers do, but also in lines. There we go. Line here, line there. That's the second time that we've seen the word line. When I'm constructing a poem, I'm trying to write one good line after another. He's not trying to write a good poem. He's just trying to write one good line. He's not trying to write a good book. He's just trying to write one good line, one good line, one good line. That's all he's looking to write. One good line. And then when he's done with that good line, one more good line. That's it. One good line. That's all he wants to do. One good line. I'm not thinking of just writing a paragraph and then chopping it up. No, no, no. I'm not just like trying to, piece these things together. No, no, I'm giving my special attention to a line. But I'm not going to bastardize the line by writing this big thing and then trying to break it down and make it a line. I'm going to write a line, and I'm going to write a good line. I'm writing one good line after another. One good line after another. I'm not thinking of just writing a paragraph and then chopping it up. I'm very conscious, very aware, very, very serious, so to speak, of the fact. And every line, as again, three, that's the fourth time he says line, should have a cadence to it. So there should be a rhythm to it. It should contribute to the progress of the poem. One line contributes to the progress of the poem, just like the next line contributes to the progress of the poem. No one line is more important than the other. No one line is less important than the other. It's just a line, and one line follows, you got it, the next line. The next line follows what? Another line. And that ending line is the way of turning the reader's attention back into what? The interior of the poem, the line itself. So all the attention is on the line. So even when you're finishing the line, it's the point. The point is to you're done with the line. The point is to return the reader back to the interior part of the poem because that's where the line is. And then we do that again and we return the reader back to the interior part of the poem and that's where the line is. And we're just creating one line after another, one line after another. That's it. That's all we're doing is we're writing one line after another. So I think that there's a couple th different things. I didn't mention this. We see the repetition of line, but also he's being reflective. He's just, I think I'm a line writer. He's just reflecting. We think not just in sentences. I'm trying to. He's being very reflective. He's speaking in the first person pronoun, and he's just saying, "Hey, look, this is me. This is how I do things. This is my wisdom that I'm offering to you." And this is why we read these poets, whether that's in an interview or their poems, or even if we have essays that we could read of theirs, it doesn't matter. We're reading these poets because we know that they're wise. And this is a wise bit of self-reflection that we could see as counsel. He's reflective in his own practice, and his own practice, he's just going one line after another. And so the theme that we can come up with from this is progress happens line by line. And we get the promised land by taking one step. We get to our destination, the destination that requires us to progress toward. Well, how? One step at a time, one day at a time, 1 second at a time, one line at a time, one at a time. If I'm a boxer and I'm boxing, one punch at a time. Wins the fight. If I'm a basketball player, one shot at a time, one play at a time, one at a time, 1 second at a time. That's all, one game at a time. That's all we're doing. If I'm in the playoffs, it's just one game at a time. You're trying to talk about next week or next year. I'm just dealing with one thing at a time. My attention and focus is one thing at a time. We progress line by line. Our focus of attention in that one line, nothing else. It's that one line. Not moving our attention beyond that one line. We progress. We live in that one moment, that 1 second, that one day, that one time period is what we have control over, nothing else. And we try to make that as good as we possibly can make it, just like he says here. I'm trying to write one good line after another, one good line after another. That's it. That's it. That's how we progress one good line after another. Let's think about this in sort of a broader context. Let's see if we can consider maybe some philosophical things about this. Let's see if we could broaden this out and see if we can sort of move this beyond just this particular text. Let's think about this epistemologically. That is a person knows what they know. Upon what does the speaker base his or her own knowledge? They are basing their own knowledge off of their own experience. So if you're progressing day by day, you know you're making progress because of your own experience. You know that you're able to just be in that day because it's your own experience. This is what he's done. Do they question the reliability of their own and or others' beliefs or knowledge? No. No, he lived it. There's sometimes you could get to a point where you're so wise, you could figure things out because you've done it over and over again, and that's how it becomes something that you're capable of doing, is because it happens repeatedly. It happens for a long period of time, and because it has happened for such a long period of time, you're able to figure out what it is that you need to do because it's happened so much. You don't need to question whether or not it's an authentic experience. You know it's your experience, and you know that experience has taught you something. Just like we see here, he's not asking himself the question, is this reliable? He just knows it's reliable. How? Why? It's his own experience. Let's think about it axiomatically. Um, taking what beliefs taken as given, right? So the belief taken as, if we were to take this belief as given, if we were to take if we were to take this belief for granted, where would this lead us? Like we just go, okay, it's given to us. Let's how where would this lead us as readers? Well, if we take this for granted, I think we will slow down. We would just take it step by step. I think what this speaker assumes is that, whenever you're doing something, you're just doing that as best you can. And you're not necessarily trying to figure out the whole puzzle piece. The whole puzzle, you're just trying to piece by piece until that thing is done. You're creating beauty in the world. It's just piece by piece. It's not necessarily done in its entirety all in one day. Are those beliefs ever challenged or reinforced in the text? Yes, he says line and line and line and line, what, five, six times? And I think that that's how his beliefs are reinforced in the text. How do unquestioned principles or cultural norms shape the way they perceive and interact with the world? He's not interested in how other people interact with the world. He's not well, a little bit he is. He's interested in how prose writers interact. He says that's not what we do. So to the extent that he can use what other people do and says, look, that's not what we do. And by way of contrast, he could come to his own. Just like Robert Frost talks about coming to his own in the poem that I analyzed a few weeks ago, coming into your own. You come into your own because it is how you do things, not because how somebody else does it. And so test this out. Test this thing out. Is it line by line that you progress, day by day you progress? Test it out. See what happens. See if progress happens if you decide to do this. In the comments, please answer the question: how does progress happen for you? Do you agree with this? Does progress happen line by line? Does it happen day by day? Does it happen moment by moment? Does it happen whatever you're doing in that moment? That is how progress is taking place. Or do you have some other way of explaining how progress happens? Billy Collins, he reminds us progress happens line by line. It doesn't happen all together. And if you counter what someone else is doing and you see by way of contrast, my way is different from that. That is one way that you're able to glean the most from your own experience. That's all I have for this one. I'll see you on the next one.